And of course, by the time we'd caught up to the blackguard, we shot them right in front of him. Oh, the face he made, the tears, they will refresh my palate for years to come.
Imperialism. No, that's terrifying.
That
Don't
is
ever do that again.
Oh, there's a dark and uncomfortable way to open a podcast. Some might say it's probably the wrong way to do it, to which we'd say editing is for pussies.
Dark and uncomfortable sounds like my sex life.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Damn Cast. It's another fine week full of frolics and frolics and twats and twattery and all that nonsense and bollocks.
That sounds 100% accurate.
It's true, in a way. I am one of the voices you'll be hearing for the next 6 hours, Hercule Gimboid.
I'm Arnold Judas Rimmer.
BSc SSc.
BSc SSc, yeah. Sorry. How could I forget?
Don't forget your qualifications. Very important. Before we begin, got a few things to talk about. Some trailers. We're also getting down and dirty with the fossils of cinema. With a bit of a Jurassic Park retrospective before Fallen Kingdom comes out.
I thought we were going to do a book club review.
Well, getting down and dirty with The Great Gatsby this week. But first, before we forget, a friend of the show, Ginger Luke, writes in quite often. Hello, Luke. Luke has created a short film, which we shall be tweeting out correctly at the right time. So have a look at our Twitter account, Big Damn Cast, to catch Ginger Luke's short movie. It's a very quirky, fun little romp about working within radio and broadcasting. It's very fun, and it's got Greg Austin from Class in it. Because, why not? So have a little look at that.
He's not busy, is he?
How dare you? He's busy with a, I'm sure, successful audio range of adventures set within the world of Class, which is set within the world of Doctor Who. But, in case you've forgotten, guys, we didn't like Class. But what we do like is creativity. So check out Ginger Luke's film. We retweet on our account. Yes, we do. Okay. Because, as the trailers this week have proved,
I didn't get the memo.
The world is full of original creative ideas. Asterix, space, Asterix, I'm being sarcastic.
So
let's talk about the trailers that dropped in the earlier half of this week.
He's being sarcastic.
Being caustic. Don't know what that means. Matt, you're a Transformers fan. You're a fan of Transformers.
It's been said.
By which I mean the franchise as a whole. I got around to watching the first 2 episodes of Toys That Made Us season
Most
2.
of the franchise.
So I've seen the balls. What was one of them?
The first one was...
What was it? Oh God. Star Trek.
Yeah.
Which was fun because it was mostly an episode saying, yeah, this franchise never really had a toy thing going. It was kind of shit.
It just kind of...
In the 90s it kind of existed, and here's how we openly manipulated adults into spending money.
Yeah.
It's like, oh great.
Yeah.
And we're now going to very quickly sort of go, about the Mego guy and his time in prison. But then the second episode was Transformers, which was fucking enlightening.
Yeah. I feel like I could have watched another whole episode.
I teared up at the end.
Oh yeah, the designer getting the Perceptor.
Yeah, like just handed it over and just like, oh my god. And the idea that a part of him is is in this now.
Yeah.
Like the guys in Japan who, with the spearheads who were like, okay, American company, let's work with you. Let's create some shit and start handing you over our designs. Stop buying other people's.
I mean, these prototypes out of wood.
Oh, they were beautiful.
That's fucking insane. I want to see that book of designs and photos I'm looking for. I want that to be published.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
I love how it took the documentary at least 10 minutes to get into the whole... Oh yeah, Megatron's a gun. That caused problems.
Yeah.
It took them a while to get into that.
Yeah.
And I love the fact they weren't kind to the movie in terms of... Yeah, as a marketing decision, we made the dumbest fucking... Like, the franchise made the dumbest fucking decision in using the film to kill off the old Rota just to bring the new lot in. But the problem was they then didn't acknowledge how the film was really fucking good for basically a toy commercial.
I mean, yeah, it's not a very good film.
Oh, it's great.
But I love it. I love it. So much.
It's not a great film. It's bad comedy. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Speaking of bad comedy, the Transformers franchise
has in recent years become a multi-billion-dollar vacuum at the cinema. 11 years now since Transformers came out. I made every casual cinema go, oh yeah, it was kind of fun. I made every Transformers fan go, fuck is this?
You say that.
Oh.
There is a die-hard fan base for those movies.
Right, but is there a Venn diagram where there's a little pocket in the middle that are both hardcore Transformers fans and hardcore fans of the Transformers movies?
It's a Venn diagram, but it transforms into a pie chart.
Hey!
I don't know. I feel like
there's making that noise.
There are some people who are like will go mad for whatever Transformers media is. Some people who are very snotty about
did in the
certain
90s and early 2000s, where it was just we'll take what we can get.
But then there are some people who are super snotty and very into one part of the franchise and will shit on everything else.
Are there Beast Wars like fanatics who hate the rest of it?
There are more G1 fanatics who hate Beast Wars.
Oh,
Truck Not Monkey was a popular phrase on the internet in the late 90s.
Technically, he was an ape, so that's offensive.
But
get your simian
also,
right, guys.
Also, the subset of Transformers fans that really gets my goat are the folks who are willing to drop like upwards of 150 quid on like super detailed, articulated third-party figures. So like unlicensed Transformers that have different names but are basically versions of these characters, and then complain that Hasbro's mainstream stuff is too expensive for what it is.
Those people exist as well.
Oh yeah,
For Christ's sake,
they're fun.
We've spent thousands on these imitation ones over the years,
and they're better than Hasbro's that are $50.
Jesus wept.
No shit.
Jesus wept. Well, Transformers is sort of considered as a film franchise now that we're 5 entries in. A bit of a joke by people who really enjoy movies. I mean, there's a popcorn factor to it of just mindless action, but like separate your love of Transformers from that for now. You've seen 1, 2.
I've seen
5.
half of 3.
And sort of 3, yeah.
I've seen 3/4 of 4.
Okay.
And I've seen 5. I literally got to a point in 5 where I was just, I can't follow what's happening.
Yeah. Oh god, I was sat next to you. I could feel it. I could feel it emanating from your very pores.
And in 5, I couldn't get away from that moment because I was sat in the cinema, and I don't tend to walk out of films.
But we were also just enjoying how Anthony Hopkins didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But in 4. Because I was watching it on Netflix, I reached that point and was just like, I'm not watching Mark Wahlberg anymore. I can't do it.
I think we got to transform.
I can't do it. This is terrible.
But the films are like, there's some popcorn fun in there. I can't feel it myself.
It's similar to,
I see it in a way.
For me, it's similar to the X-Men franchise in that it strips away.
Oh my god, you've suffered so much in terms of your favourite things.
It strips away everything I like about the source material.
And goes, this is fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it's not.
It's missing all of the things that I like about, like, having Peter Cullen voice Optimus Prime does not make up for the fact that none of this feels like Transformers.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it's it just never worked for me.
And yet the film series' first spin-off arrives this Christmas.
And from what is going on over at Paramount, it might be their last spin-off.
Yeah,
because they've taken Transformers 6 off the slate.
Yeah, they've still got the slot for it, I believe, haven't they?
No,
but it's not necessarily going to be Transformers coming out in that slot slot now.
They've still got a slot.
Yeah,
but it's not. They removed it from their upcoming slate.
Okay. Because Michael Bay's busy taking weird low-angle shots of himself directing like a fucking hero on another film.
Well, he said he's not going to do any more.
Oh, he will though.
He won't.
He will because it's easy.
No, because last night didn't make enough money.
Yeah, but it's comfortable.
Yeah,
it's comfortable. Even if it takes like 10 years, he'll come back and he'll be
like,
"Hey, everyone, the grand return."
Someone who makes movies as expensive as Michael Bay has a different definition of comfort to me and thee. Like it.
However, he is still executive producing and putting his name on Bumblebee, which, as far as I can recall, isn't up against much competition this Christmas.
We've got no Star Wars, have we?
I was going to say, Christopher Robin's coming out around Thanksgiving.
No Marvel till next year.
And Mary Poppins is coming out at Christmas.
Mary Poppins returns next year. Ant-Man and the Wasp out in August. But
yeah.
It's not,
but there's no.
We haven't got an
There's no
October
third or fourth quarter Marvel.
Yeah.
Or Star Wars. And I still think if Solo had waited till Christmas, it probably would have done a lot better because people would have got into that tradition thing of every Christmas.
Yeah, Solo's not doing that great, is it?
Nope, it is the first one to make a loss as of this week. It's the first Star Wars film to make a loss because it's one of the most expensive movies ever made. It cost over $300 million
because they had to reshoot nearly all of it.
Yeah, and it is not making anywhere because to break even, it needs to make at least. So this is the $300 million. Plus, usually you double that for the marketing, roughly. Chuck on another third of the original price for safety, so it needs to make $700 million for it to be.
It's never going to happen.
Profit. So for it to break even and start to make profit, and it's nowhere near that.
And the thing is, it's not even a bad movie, but it's not exceptional enough.
No.
For word of mouth to bring people to it.
Yeah.
And it's not. I think MovieBug did a video on this a couple of days ago, which is kind of outlines. It's people. There are plenty of people who will turn around and say, I like Star Wars, my favourite character is Han Solo. They don't want to see a movie about Han Solo.
Yeah.
Because when they say, my favourite character is Han Solo, what they actually mean is, Harrison Ford is a charming movie star and I like seeing him do space things in those space movies that I like. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that gatekeepery attitude of oh, well, you're not a big enough fan. Because that's bullshit, and it's a shitty way to be. But there's going to be a lot of those people who consider themselves Star Wars fans who aren't interested in a Han Solo movie, and that's fine.
Now Paramount's attempting something like this.
Yeah,
with Bumblebee.
It's taken us so long to actually get around to that, hasn't it?
No, but this is good. It's a discussion of film as it is and how it stands at the moment. Yeah. Like how Bumblebee is clearly just a fucking loose remake of the first Transformers and the Iron Giant. Based on the trailer.
Yes.
It's set... Now, the rumours were originally that this movie was going to be set around the same time of the flashback from Transformers Last Night.
Oh, the World War II
Which sounded a bit too bleak, because it was that's a fucking bleak story to tell. And then the rumours were, he's been seen on set, he's a Volkswagen Beetle, it's going to be set in the 60s or early 70s. To which I believe our response when we first saw that was, okay, that could be interesting. Not many other Transformers are hanging around. Except, obviously, they are, because Michael Bay's now established they've been around since the frickin' Age of the Dinosaurs, and King Arthur existed, and they were around
King
then,
Arthur
and
was
blah, blah, blah. But it's okay, Bumblebee and maybe a couple of other Transformers popping up in a story set in the 70s that could be kind of kooky. Alright. It's confirmed. It's set in 1987. Oh, okay, yeah. So it'll be when it comes out. It'll be 21 years. 21 years? Yeah, that's not right. 31 years.
31 years. Yeah. Jesus, sorry.
It's alright. Sorry. It's because I don't know about you, but when I think of when I do shorthand maths in my head, I still think we're in the 2000s, not the 2010s.
I wish I was still 20.
I wish my blood pressure was what it was.
Hey!
But it's just holy shit. Okay, so you're not that nostalgic, but they're also putting on the cycle of nostalgia.
It's set in 1987 because Stranger Things happened.
Yeah, that's pretty much why.
That's why it's set in 1987.
The main character's clothing looks like a modern day interpretation of 80s.
Yeah,
stuff.
I guess.
Right down to the cut of her shorts and things like that. It's the sort of stuff you'd buy now. The clothes that are nostalgic for them.
Well, they didn't have much of a costume budget. It all went on Bumblebee.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That the trailer, from the aesthetic, what people are wearing and the settings, it doesn't scream 80s to me at all. Bumblebee is based on a car from the 60s. 50s and 60s, and again, like how he was in the first Transformers, he's knackered and in hiding, and someone buys him and is trying to buff him up and make him look good again.
Well, they even have in the trailer, they have a version of the dialogue that Bernie Mac says when Sam gets Bumblebee in the first Transformers movie.
Yeah.
The car doesn't choose the driver doesn't choose the car chooses the driver.
Yeah.
That's some great, iconic, memorable, motivational quote. And I get it.
Yeah, the driver doesn't choose the car chooses the driver, especially if it's a sentient creature that's disguised like a motor vehicle that's been in hibernation for many years on Earth and is looking for somebody to go on an adventure with in this motion picture. Bumblebee, have this Thanksgiving.
Also, that Bernie Mac character in the first movie was a prick.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Now, on the upside, who's the main actor again for this one?
Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah. Decent work before, but obviously a young actor, so still kind of in that proving ground. Hopefully she's given decent enough material to work
I
with.
just really hope they don't go down the Age of Extinction route of making a eye candy and overly sexualizing.
Oh, Christ, because Age of Extinction, like, the lead female is meant to be, like, 16, 17.
Because her boyfriend has that Romeo and Juliet law card.
Yeah.
That he flashes out whenever people, like, but you're dating a minor. He's like, actually, in these states, it's perfect, and it's just... It's like just gross.
Yeah, but this is still gross. And then number 5,
gross.
like there's several scenes of the teenage boys like lusting after the teenage girl, and they're all about 13, 14. Yeah. It's like, look, this humor would be charming if it was a movie about kids, but it's not a movie about kids. Kind of creepy. Like, if it was all about kids, then it's about what it's like being a teenager and first falling in love and having feelings and awakenings. And it's not about that. You're just having 13-year-olds make sexual references to one another. 13-year-old, this is creepy.
Well, Hailey Steinfeld's 22, so it depends what age she's playing in this movie. But it looks like she's playing a teenager.
She's probably playing a 17-year-old.
Let's have less sexualization, please.
Please, babe. Unless, of course, it's for the military character, because John Cena's in it, which makes me slightly...
I didn't see him! Sorry!
Oh, your time is up.
I had to.
Your time is now.
I can't do this. Who's directing Bumblebee? It's Travis Knight, who's done...
The Last Night?
Oh, Travis Knight, who directed Kubo and the Two Strings, which apparently was very, very good.
Interesting.
And
but does a stop-motion director translate easily to a live-action director?
Well, he's worked as an animator on Kubo and the Two Strings, Box Trolls. He was the lead animator on. He was the lead animator on Paranorman. Lead animator on Coraline.
Okay. Well, he's got a visual eye then.
Yeah.
Sure. This trailer doesn't necessarily show a big visual sort of shift.
It doesn't.
It's
look
more tonal, isn't it?
It doesn't look like the Earth is going to get blown up at any point, which is nice.
Yeah, that's it. It looks like
it doesn't look like there's any cities getting leveled.
Transformers story.
Like the biggest action set piece we see is Bee catching a helicopter. Also, it looks like we're getting a red Starscream.
Yes,
which I like.
And would be nice because they might get to flesh out Starscream a bit instead of imply his sort of traditional characteristics in the other movies.
It's just
I was reading up on it like after I watched the trailer last night. I was just like, I'm curious. I was reading up and I was like, because again, like I've only seen. I watched number one at 5 a.m. after a house party where 2 of us were still awake and we just put Transformers on. And I fell asleep during the last act. I watched 2 in the cinema with you. Yeah. I remember going, fucking hell, what a fucking abomination that was.
It was terrible. It was just the worst.
I mean, for Christ's sake, what's the giant combiner? Is it Devastator?
Yeah.
He had testicles.
Yeah.
That was a thing that they did in the movie.
They did a testicle joke in Transformers 2.
And skids and mud flap.
Those cunts.
Let's not even get started on that.
The racist Autobot twins.
Yeah.
Yay!
And then I saw number 5. And yeah, I was like, right, so I don't recall Starscream being in the others, but that's because the Decepticons and the Autobots don't really have any actual freaking identity.
No. He dies
They're all
all
just meshes of scrap metal. No, I wikied it. I think he's in 1, 2. He's in part of 3, and 3's the only bit where he sort of shows a bit of the character we know. Because Starscream, for those who don't know, and I really don't know this as well as Matt, but like Starscream is usually cast as like Megatron's right hand man,
but he's
trying to usurp him.
He's trying to overthrow Megatron.
So in the 3rd one, he finally he jokes about Megatron's weakened state, and then Megatron like punches him out or something, and that's like it. It's like that's your reference to him. And then he's dead. His head is seen in the 4th one, and then his head
not
is
that
seen.
You can tell.
And then his head is seen in the 5th one because now Galvatron. He's Megatron again in the 5th one, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Galvatron in the 4th one, and then he's Megatron for no reason again in the 5th one.
Yeah, Megatron holds Starscream's head and says like, "Oh, goodbye, my treacherous friend," and then like throws the head down. It's like, okay. He was never treacherous in these movies. Bumblebee might give us the chance to see something interesting finally. He might get to...
maybe.
It'd be nice if Megatron and the majority of the Decepticons aren't involved and it's just like these couple have been sent, like wherever the helicopter is, and Starscream have been sent to like...
I don't think that helicopter's a Transformer. I think that's just a helicopter.
I kind of hope it's a Transformer.
Because it looks all burnt out. It looks like it's just a shell of a helicopter that's been shot down or
exactly.
something.
I want it to be a roasted dead Transformer. I want it to be a dead-ass Transformer.
I like...
Bumblebee's redesign?
I don't want to say I like them, but I hate them less.
Yeah.
Bumblebee's still cursed with that face.
that weird fucking face.
Weird
that he's
fucking
got.
face. And it looks like Starscream is as well, assuming that is Starscream. I really can't tell. Colour-wise, it looks like it might be Starscream.
We hope it is.
I hope it's Starscream. It'll be fucking Dirge or something, or Ramjet. It should be if he's going red, it should be Dirge because he's maroon. But they'll do Ramjet, who's fucking white because they don't really care.
You hate whites, famously.
I do hate whites. It's true.
Yeah, first boys and girls. Yeah. Matthew Watson hates whites.
White genocide.
Oh God. Matt wants the whites out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
cultural Marxism.
Oh God. But yeah, so Bumblebee. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's rounder. He's got more sort of like less of the gears and the shifting silver.
He look
more of the yellow curved plating. Like he looks more like a cartoon, albeit with that face.
Yeah.
However, he does have like a mask variant, like a helmet variant that looks like a bee.
He's always had that.
But it looks nice, like with the full. There's a nice shot in the thing where he sort of stood in an open space and he like turns around and he's holding something or whatever.
Well,
and he's got the mask on. It's like, oh, he looks like a cartoony Transformers character.
The traditional Bumblebee look, he has little horns.
Yeah, but you don't gotta get rid of that.
10 little horns.
Get rid of the 2 horns. It's too faggy. It's too faggy. Get rid of the 2 horns. It's too.
I don't want to see him fly.
I don't want to see him fly.
No capes.
No capes.
It looks like it might be all right if they keep the stakes low and they actually write some characters for these actors to play. The designs look better.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
Yeah. But again, it's just the fact that it's not straying too far from the formula of it's almost the plot of the first act of the first movie.
Yeah.
And look, here's the nasty military getting involved.
Yeah.
Can we have a Transformers film without the military?
Well, it depends.
That would be nice.
It depends.
But of course, we have to have it because Michael Bay jerks their cocks.
Well, and also, this is
they
clearly
supply him with lots of stuff.
This is clearly a prequel to
the first one.
The first movie. But it'll be interesting to see whether they play it as a straight prequel or they use it as a jumping-off point for a reboot.
I think they won't be able to resist tying it into the others so they can claim they have a cinematic universe.
I mean, it's the same design for Bumblebee. It's just tweaked.
Oh no, but I mean, they will put so many leads. They'll solo it. They'll chuck a couple of things in to be like, see, look at these dice. Oh, look who's in charge of freaking whatever the hell the thing is called,
Crimson Dawn.
Like, oh, see, we're tying it into the other thing. Like, whereas it would benefit by being separate and just having a wink and a nod to something else.
But
they want to claim it's a cinematic universe, so they'll make a point of doing it. They can't.
Yeah,
they can't
that's
resist.
how this movie got its start. They had a Transformers writers' room all working on spin-offs, and then that got shelved just before the last night
talk
came
about
out.
franchise fatigue, though. Do you know what I mean? Like Transformers spin-offs. So this one's about a film, right, where someone discovers a vehicle that's a robot, and this one's about a film where someone discovers there's a vehicle, right? But guess what? This vehicle, it's a robot. And this, do you know, it's like there's based on what their view, what their view of Transformers is, that team that have been making these movies, Transformers is one story told 100,000 times, the exact same thing. Whereas obviously if they look to the source material or asked like a script writer, screenwriter who's a fan of Transformers, they could be like, oh shit, why not try this? Or why not try that?
That's why
we're at that point. Let's do a prequel. Let's just do Beast Wars. Let's do a Beast Wars movie. Fuck it. There you go.
That's one of the reasons why the IDW comics are so good. Is because they're written by people who grew up with a love for the property.
Would you watch a Beast Wars film? A live action Beast Wars movie?
Yeah. But the guy, one of the producers, the main... Roberto Orsi?
Roberto Orsi. What we got to say?
It might have been him. Someone who was a producer on the film has said like, yeah, I'm probably not going to do... We're not going to do that, I don't think, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Alright, cool. They're robots, they're animals, it doesn't work. Okay, whatever. But what about that weird pretender that you had in the second one? The hot girl who was also a Transformer.
Just hot girl hentai tongue.
But we can't do animals that are also Transformers. That's just too weird. Wouldn't work.
By the way, here's a dinosaur. And King Arthur.
Yeah. Also dragons.
And drunk Stanley Tucci. So yeah,
And the Earth is Unicron!
Oh, of course they set up that button at the end, don't they?
Well, that's from Transformers Prime.
Which will never get resolved.
They've already done that in Transformers Prime, the cartoon, which is very heavily influenced by the movie designs. But it's better written than any of the movies, despite being a children's show.
Can I say, as an outsider, I hate the Transformers story trope of, they've always been here, here's the thing, which the movies really cashes in on. Because it's alright to do that once, but to do it the way the movies have done it, it's like the whole Clara in Doctor Who thing of, she's always influenced his life. It's like, no!
Well, the original idea
let Earth be something that gets dragged into this.
The original idea is that a bunch of them crash on Earth 4 million years ago.
Yeah.
And then volcanic eruption wakes them up in 84.
Yeah, boom, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
That's all you need to do. But
I tweeted this week about the Venom thing. Whenever someone does a Venom or a Carnage comic, they always do, what if the symbiote attached to this character? I'm like, that was fun for the first 3 or 4 times. If I ever see it again, I'm going to hurt something. Then I picked up Amazing Spider-Man 800 this week, and I flicked through it a bit, because I'm behind. I've been reading it in the trades. So I'm like 3 story arcs behind.
Yeah.
And the trades are coming out really slowly all of a sudden, probably because they've anticipated there might be a slowdown in production of it as it changes hands. I don't know why. But Green Goblin is now the Red Goblin because he's merged with the Carnage symbiote. And I'm like, I really like Dan's writing. I'm probably going to enjoy this. I need to just forget this. I need to just forget this being a thing. I need to forget that this is something that annoys me. It's because some Ultimate Spider-Man clips popped up on my YouTube this week, and I was like, what the f*** is that? And I watched it, and it's like, this person's with Carnage, and this person's Venom, and the Venom merges with this character. It's just like, is that it? Is that the only idea we've got? But I'm a sucker for Osborn and Parker, so damn it, I'll probably get through it.
So, oh well.
Anywho.
So, how's this for a movie idea?
Oh, hit me.
Chris, how's this for a movie idea? What we're going to do is...
You hit me!
Well, and now here's my movie idea.
Okay.
How about we take...
Sugar!
A bunch of pop culture properties, entertainment brands, all sorts of stuff, and we contrive some sort of online world in which our characters can go and sort of interact with all these properties all at once, and you'll be dazzled by familiar sights of things like, I don't know, say,
right,
the
okay,
Stormtroopers
let me stop you there.
Yeah.
We saw this movie a few weeks ago. Ready Player One.
Oh.
Yeah. So go on, pitch me something else. Pitch me something else.
Okay, so we've got 2 characters, right?
Okay, 2 characters, yeah.
And they're gonna escape from their little self-contained world into a much larger world and be overwhelmed by all these things that are familiar to us but unfamiliar to them.
Okay, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
This came out last year.
Okay.
It's called the Emoji Movie. Sort of done that. Okay, right. So, you said something about different properties.
Yeah.
All of them being together in the same.
Yeah. So you look over and you get things like Star Wars and the Disney princesses.
Okay, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
This is the Lego Movie. This came out about 3 years ago. I think you're gonna have to stretch it because these all sound like they've been done. Do you have anything else at all?
We're gonna do them better.
Okay, what do you got?
This is Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Ralph breaks the internet.
Yeah.
You're probably assuming from our little Abbott and Costello in 2018 routine there that we're sort of a bit cynical about this, but I don't know.
I know it looks like fun.
It looks fun,
and
it is unfortunately an idea that has now been done a lot over the last few years in video games and now cinema.
And it looks like it's going to be done again next year because after this we've got the Lego Movie 2, the second part trailer to talk about.
Is the same bloody thing, but okay, so Wreck-It Ralph's set in an arcade, and it's about one character deciding he doesn't want to just be pigeonholed as a baddie. So all the machines can sort of connect to each other, and he goes into different stories to find his place and all that stuff. And and learn who he is, and he meets a friend who's a glitch, and Alan Tudyk basically does an Edward impression, and it's great. A lot of fun.
Spawn of a glitch. Then
this movie is, from what we learned about it at D23 a couple of years ago when they announced it, and I think even our reaction then, early days of the podcast, was, what? But the the basic premise is the arcade upgrades a bit and they get Wi-Fi in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know why they're doing it yet, but they go into the internet. It's probably going to be something to save the arcade. It'll be something to save the arcade.
I don't know. From the trailer, it looks like they're just exploring.
No, there'll be a ticking clock. They have to, because it's a kids' film. They've got to give it something where the kids like. They've got to do that. It would be fun if it was just them casually exploring. The balls on them if it was just them walking around chilling.
Well, but then they get lost.
Oh yeah, oh god. But Vanellope and Ralph go into the internet. And it looks very much like, if you were to just describe it when they arrive, it's like, oh, so it's the Emoji Movie, or oh, it's Ready Player One. I mean, I think Ready Player One's a closer example because there's at least a visual beauty to the layout of the world of the internet.
When I saw like the layout of stuff in this trailer, and particularly like the Disney World area, where it's like all these Star Wars things and Marvel things.
And a giant Kermit over a Muppet bit, which made me happy. Because I was like, yay, they're acknowledging that the Muppets is one of their big properties. Yay! They should embrace it. You see that spread out, and there's a Disney hat like the monument that used to be at Hollywood Studios in Florida in the middle, representing Disney animation. Yeah. And then there's like Millennium Falcon floating above a Star Wars thing, and there's Iron Man's like glove floating above a Marvel superheroes, and there's a Pixar column with the lamp on it, and then fucking Kermit the Frog. And I'm like, yes, thank you. They better be in this fucking movie.
He's very happy about it.
You better put the Muppets in this movie. You better put the movie up my Muppet hole.
What?
Yeah, what? Eeyore, Dumbo, Hero, Stormtroopers, Iron Man, the Disney princesses, minus Kida. I've got a problem with that, but anyway. Atlantis has been forgotten. Which annoys me because it's a great movie and she's technically a Disney princess. Elsa's not even a Disney princess, she's a queen. Get to fuck, Elsa, get out.
You're the only person who likes Atlantis.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm also one of a very small amount of people, admittedly, who really like Treasure Planet as well.
Christopher?
Yes?
I've never seen Atlantis.
Have you never seen it?
I've also never seen Treasure Planet.
Oh my, right, Treasure Planet.
I remember them coming out.
Really short history lesson. So the two guys who came up with the idea.
I know the history behind it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, of course. You'll have seen Hercules, Disney's Hot Beautiful Mess. Yeah. The Lindsay Ellis video.
Exactly.
There we go. So yeah, like that was their passion project, and it just kept getting put back and put back and put back. And then when they eventually put it out, it was during that weird cool down period where the Renaissance was over and Disney were experimenting with genre films, so no one watched it.
And also,
Tarzan sort of started the decline
weirdly,
and then after that it was like, I think Home on the Range was the last animated one, and then Chicken Little came out
before Frog Princess and Frog.
Yeah, which was the one like dip back in. It's weird seeing the animated princesses like Tiana in CGI.
Yeah.
Some of them translate really well because the CGI princesses of modern day have used the animators' sensibilities from the 90s stuff in particular when designing like Anna and Elsa and Rapunzel. So some of them translate really nicely in this trailer. You look at them and you go, that works. Some of them look really odd because they've cartoonied them up more. Snow White looks really strange because Snow White was drawn the early princesses were drawn very realistically.
Well, because they were rotoscoped.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like actors perform it out and then they use that as exact reference.
Well, they just traced over it.
Yeah. I mean, some bits straight up and then other bits like Seven Dwarves and that they fill in and create them from scratch. But yeah, it's like the humanoid characters in terms of, sort of like the ones they wanted to be the romantic leads. Yeah, they rotoscoped. So it is weird seeing them tweaked, but it's also kind of cool because it's like, oh, are we going to start to see that in the marketing now? Because some of these characters don't get used in the modern marketing for Disney products because they look different. So are we going to start to see them pop up now? But also, where the fuck is Kida? Anyway. Really bugs me. She's a Disney princess, goddammit. She and Giselle from Enchanted got dropped. During the release of their movies, they were there in Disney Princess marketing, and look at them, aren't they awesome? And here's like their look as part of the Disney Princess line, and then they were dropped.
Cool.
I was like, oh, okay.
I keep forgetting about Enchanted. Maybe it's just the marketing people keep getting out.
And Merida's a freaking hybrid because she's a Pixar character, but she also is technically a Disney princess.
She is.
And it looks like in this they've gone back to her Pixar. Although she looks slightly different. Yeah. But they've not done what they did to her a couple of years ago when they added to the princess line, and in the merchandising they made her sort of look a bit older and a bit more sassy and a little more. I hesitate to use the word, but this is what they did. They sexed her up a bit, and it was like she's meant to be 14. the fuck are you doing? But if you really want to look into all that, guys, Ariel's meant to be 15. However, she's had films since where she's clearly at least 10 years older, so you can use that as a get around, whatever. Point is, it looks quirky and they look hilarious. The Stormtroopers look good. First Order style, weren't they?
Stormtroopers always look good.
That's very true. Dumbo, in the very brief, you can see him flying over the little crowd. He looks really cute.
Yeah.
That character at the end, the one who they have the discussion with, is called Yes, spelt 2 S's, which I think is kind of nice. Like, people just shot and going, yes! And people online have been saying, why isn't she called Yas? But it's like, that might die out, so whatever.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I like the fact the trailer ends with them acknowledging the title beef everyone had when the film was announced. Why is it not called Ralph Rex the Internet?
Yeah.
And they even say to her, like, isn't that a better title? She goes, probably. It's like, okay. Fair enough. Is this film going to age really badly, do you think?
Yes.
Because it does look like meme culture is in there.
Yes. It's going
not explicitly,
to age.
but like stuff like that, for example. Like,
I think this film's already dated by its title.
Yeah.
Because Breaks the Internet hasn't been a thing
since Kim Kardashian.
That Kim
put a
Kardashian
champagne glass on her ass.
Yeah, that Kim Kardashian photo shoot was what, 3 years ago?
2 or 3 years ago. 2-3 years ago. Because they tried to do it with the same magazine did a shoot with Nicki Minaj last year. The one where all the photos, it was like 3 or 4 versions of herself sort of like lounging on each other.
Oh, yeah.
And they called it Nicki Minaj Breaks the Internet, and it just didn't catch on the same way.
No.
Probably because, like, as ridiculous as she can be, she's a talented individual who actually makes interesting creative stuff, whereas the Kim Kardashian thing was ridiculous because it was like, really? Like, it was a mix of people who go, I love her, this is great, and other people going, really? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Why is there a champagne glass on her arse?
But it was getting
attention,
and no attention is bad attention on the internet.
Yeah. So, la la la. I think it looks fun, even if the formula is a bit samey.
Yeah.
It's recent stuff. Speaking of which,
the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
Yeah. Which is weird because we kept thinking it'd be called The Second Piece. And then the tagline appears on the poster that came out today to coincide with the trailer. The tagline is, they come in pieces.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I can see why you held that back.
Oh, the Lego Movie 2, we see a post-apocalyptic Lego movie world that's all Mad Maxed up. Which Emmett is completely ignoring.
Yeah.
Because he's Emmett.
2 coffees, please. 1 black and 1 with a pinch of cream and 28 sugars. It's just like...
Just
okay.
Chris Pratt being maximum Chris Pratt. Looks great fun.
It does.
It looks like they're being invaded by the Lego Friends.
Yeah. Specifically like an alien sort of emissary or something. That,
like, they don't go into it in the trailer, but the look of the minifigures it's a Lego Friends minifigure, but it's in like a space helmet, and they use a talking heart as a bomb.
It just goes, it explodes.
And all their Lego is pink and white and
metallic
colours.
purples.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's sort of, we were saying, are they expanding on the last joke of the original movie where it's like, everything's fine, and then the sisters Duplo appears, and they're like really fucked up aliens, basically just like, ah!
Yeah.
It's like, are they expanding on the idea that the toys in the house are now merging?
I think they are.
Which is kind of a fun idea. Because, of course, if the sister's a bit older, she would be playing with Lego Friends rather than Duplo. So
yeah.
Makes sense. Batman's back. Spaceman's back. Unikitty's back. I think the pirate, I can't remember his name, Metalbeard. I think he was in the trailer. I can't recall, though. But...
Unikitty's got a lot bigger, I think.
Yes. Unikitty's had an animated series since.
Has she?
Yeah, and they don't explicitly refer to it as Lego, which makes me think that there's some kind of butting heads in terms of the animation company making it and it being seen too much as advertising. So like it's just called Unikitty. And who was it who voiced Unikitty? Alison Brie.
Yeah.
Like I think she voices her still in the animated show, and it's
yeah.
like, okay, and it's just about quirky, weird adventures.
Weird.
And there's no other Lego characters in it. It's just set in the Unikitty world, and it's like, okay, weird.
How strange.
This one, as far as the trailer goes, it seems to be downplaying the franchise crossover thing. It's more about just what these characters are doing now. Like, the most franchise crossover you get in terms of brands is just, oh, there's Batman still.
Yeah.
So...
Because good luck having this movie without Batman.
Yeah. Lego Ninjago probably would have done better. Were like a Batman in it as well.
Yeah, Lego Ninjago was pretty good though, and it's a hell of a lot better than this show, that's for sure.
Yeah, oh god. Well, simplify the mythology and make it into one sort of action comedy movie.
Yeah.
There you go. Slide the mask. So, Last Blood. So, I mean, the trailer made me chuckle quite a bit. There's a few moments in it that, again, the humour's stupid. There's only one joke that fell flat for me in the trailer, and that's when Emmett's just dancing. And he's like, "Oh, that's a fun beat. Listen, oh, yeah, he's dancing." It was like,
yeah, because he makes the joke
DreamWorksy joke
to Beastie Boys into Galactic before the actual beat comes in. That might
Very
work
true.
in the movie,
Yeah.
but the way the music is edited into the trailer, it doesn't work because the beat's not come in yet.
God damn. But 3 movies, all of which are proving that Hollywood is definitely full of original ideas. Asterix.
No, the Asterix movie isn't out. The trailer's not out.
Is that happening still?
I
know there was one in development, wasn't there?
I think I saw a poster for it.
It's probably like the Woody Woodpecker film. It's probably already been and gone in Belgium and France.
It's animated.
And then we'll get a dub of it.
It's not the live action Gerard Depardieu ones.
Oh god, was that Gerard Depardieu?
He was Obelix.
Of course! Oh fucking hell! Mind you, he's a massive star there, isn't he? He's a big name,
and he is also a huge
star.
star.
A huge star. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
For our younger listeners, there are comics made outside of the UK and the US that exist. Go and look them up.
Comics are huge in France.
There's a place in I think it's in Belgium because Ed and Ben went there for an all over the place shoot a couple of series ago. But there's like a town where they've got I think it's in Belgium, but they've got like memorials and patterns painted all down this street on all of the buildings, homaging big comics, things like Asterix and Popeye.
Yeah.
And
that sort of comic strip style.
Felix the Cat in particular is massive.
The Bond
Felix
Destiny.
is massive in Germany, I think.
I think so.
Sort of Central Europe, but
France, you've got France and Belgium have Valerian. That's the French.
Yeah,
French
oh
book.
god, yeah.
I
never looked up how that did financially. The movie version over there.
It's on Netflix now, though, so I should probably give it a watch.
Yeah, and watch Dane looks like he's always sweating DeHaan in the lead role.
Such no choice
as an action hero.
Tintin.
Yes,
Belgium.
Of course. Yeah, can't forget
obviously.
Tintin.
And as you say, Asterix.
Moomins. They're massive in like Finland and stuff.
What?
Moomins.
Yeah, that's
Jansen stuff. That's massive out there.
I think that's more of an illustrated book than a.
Oh, they've been comics
though.
They've been comics, graphic novels and stuff.
Well, yeah, because
animated shows. Bar. That's another one.
Bar. But it's more
the elephant.
The Euro comic scene is more sort of adventure stories and fantasy stuff rather than superhero. Superheroes are almost uniquely American invention.
In fact, I would argue that they are America's only real true export.
America's mythology, basically.
Yeah. Modern Greek modern Greek myth. The difference being that we don't believe they're stories that happen. We know they're fiction.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously Greek myths, a lot of them are like, no, this shit happened because mystical shit's out there, guys. And
then Kratos killed them all.
Yeah, and then got bored and moved on to the Norse. The next game will probably rock up and start smashing up Neil Gaiman's New Gods or some shit. I don't know.
Speaking of getting bored and moving on, let's talk about Jurassic.
Hey!
Savage. Let's talk about Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
because Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is out.
The 6th movie. The 6th Jurassic... No, 5th. Well done, maths.
Yes.
The 5th Jurassic Park movie.
It's out like the day this podcast comes out, so we haven't had a chance to see it before we record. So we're going to talk about what we think about Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom next week. But this week, we're going to talk about what we think about the franchise of Jurassic Park.
The milky teat
The
juice.
milky teats of those Jurassic Park breasts.
Get it in my throat.
1993.
What a year.
We're both very young.
We're tiny toddler boys.
Steven Spielberg. Direct.
That was our podcast back then. The Toddler Boys.
The Toddler Boys. Before
we had no microphone. We had that microphone that when you shout into it, it makes your voice go distorted.
Speak for yourself. I had a little tape recorder.
Did you?
Yeah. Like a little Fisher Price tape recorder.
You had a fucking proton pack and a ghost trap.
I also had a proton pack and a ghost trap.
And I know because I played with it, yet probably never met you.
Yeah.
I played with your toys because occasionally you would leave them at my cousins because they would have one extra proton pack that wasn't theirs.
It was mine.
What a weird thought.
The real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. It just struck me how odd that is. We were unknowingly sharing toys.
Serendipity.
Before we ever met.
Serendipity.
I pooed in it. I didn't.
That explains a lot, actually.
What was Spielberg doing that year? Was he borrowing your Proton Pack?
He had directed an adaptation of Michael Crichton's novel Jurassic Park.
Can I just stop you already and say thank you for pronouncing his name right?
What?
So many people call him Crichton.
No, Michael Crichton.
It's Crichton.
It's Crichton.
But it sort of looks a bit like Crichton. People say Michael Crichton. It's like, it's Crichton.
It's one of those weird names that isn't said how it's spelled.
Yeah.
It's
like Matthew. Which is spelled Mattthehew.
Yeah, that's... Yonko, spelled Christopher.
Oh, God. That feels like abuse in a way.
I remember Jurassic Park coming out, and I remember seeing it at the cinema, and I remember having my little 5-year-old socks blown off.
Oh, creepy.
That was awesome when it came out. And you know what? It still fucking holds up today. There are some dodgy CGI shots.
Can I guess them before you even say it? There's at least two that are really dodgy.
Okay, yeah.
One of them is the final confrontation with the two raptors and the T-Rex appearing.
Yeah, and it's roaring in the banner.
Which looks great on its own.
Yeah.
But the daylight does not bode
Both
well.
the dodgy shots are in daylight, funnily enough.
The other one is the first reveal of the Brachiosaurus.
Yeah.
Which again is sort of, you can get over it really easily because it's the way that moment is directed, and Sam Neill and Laura Dern's performances and the music and what that moment means. You can get over it pretty easily, but it is like the one shot in the movie where modern audiences look at it and go, "Ooh, that's." And again, it's down to the lighting.
Yeah,
but Spielberg needed that shot. That shot needed to exist. The rest of the CG is fucking gorgeous because it is blanketed and used sparingly.
Yeah.
In darkness and metallic rooms.
And if they could do something practically, they did it practically.
Yeah.
And it shows in how well that movie's aged.
It's just, I mean, just looking for images for this podcast that I stumbled across an image from the Lost World publicity, which I had as a jigsaw, which is a big clearing, like a jungle clearing.
Yeah.
And it's got like the baby T-Rexes in the middle on the ground. And it's got the two other T-Rexes from the sequel looming in the back. Like one of them quite prominently, one of them sort of like just there.
Yeah.
And it's got like 3 or 4 of the raptors, which if I remember correctly in Lost World, like when you see them in full daylight in the promo shots, they're like bright orange.
I can't remember.
Because you only really see them in the dark in the film itself. They're leaking around and in the freaking gymnastics sequence. We'll get to that. So, but like, and they're all practical. It's a stage shot where they've put all the puppets and the animatronics together and then just taken a photograph of it. Do you know what I mean? There's no compositing in this image.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible. Nowadays, if you had a Jurassic World jigsaw, for example, it would just be like a CGI rendered image of one of the dinosaurs or like a painted image.
It'd be blue.
But I just thought,
it would be blue.
Yeah, but how impressive is that? Like, they're going, yeah, look at it, we made this. We made it, it is physically in this set, we're taking a fucking photograph of it to prove to you this exists. There are no strings on these things. And we have set them in a way where they look like they are real and standing and posing for a fucking photograph.
Well,
and the first movie is definitely like that. Like, every practical shot that can be practical.
Not only do I remember the movie coming out, I also remember the hype and the mania that surrounded it.
Yeah, because of course, because like you were too young for Batmania, weren't you? Would have been 1. Like
I was 5 when Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah.
So
you were aware of it, and obviously you were at the age where stereotypically kids are obsessed with dinosaurs.
I had one of the most ironic pieces of merchandise ever created.
Oh,
a Jurassic Park lunchbox. Because of course Ian Malcolm has that whole thing of, oh, you made it and you slapped it in a lunchbox and you sold it to people and you didn't even stop to think if you should. I had a Jurassic Park lunchbox.
Of course you did, because of course they released a Jurassic Park.
Because all the official merchandise had that little JP stamp on it.
It did, yes, because even the toys did.
The toys had them.
My stepbrother had the T-Rex, and I used to find it really annoying that there was a freaking JP on its like hip.
I had the electronic Dilophosaurus.
Which one's the Dilophosaurus?
The spitting. So it had a clip-on frill.
Really?
So
that's cool.
And then you pulled its back legs back, and it did its roar.
Oh, that's so cool. Those toys were gorgeous.
Although they were a bit weird with the
some of it's rubber and some of it's plastic,
and also this is Alan Grant with his dinosaur catching thing.
I'll rephrase that.
The dinosaur toys were
good. In fact, have you seen the modern ones in our local supermarket? Have you
the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
The dinosaurs look great.
Yeah.
The humans, they're all Owen. Like, they're all variations on Chris Pratt's character. And they look like those Sam Neill, Laura Dern,
even the Claire is Owen.
I've not seen the Claire.
I've not seen the
That
Claire.
sums it up, you know what I mean? But, like, even those action figures look like sort of early 90s Kenner Star Wars, like Jurassic Park stuff. They don't look great. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the dinosaurs look lovely.
I'm looking up the old school Jurassic Park toys.
Oh, that's the Lost World. Because of course some of them, they were part rubber and part plastic and stuff. Like the T-Rex, I remember it had a rubbery hide.
Yeah,
and it was so that
I remember wanting that T-Rex.
I think if you crunched its legs together, it sort of roared. So, is that it there?
That's not the Dilophosaurus I had. That's the Dilophosaurus with Dino Strike Venom Spray.
Because of course.
I had the electronic Dilophosaurus. This is the one I had. Dino Screams and Striking Jaw. Look at that. Oh my god. Look at that beast.
That's beautiful. Oh, that is so cool. And the trading cards, they'll come with the collector's card.
Yeah, it comes with the collector's card.
See, when I was younger, I was at that phase. I was into dinosaurs because of course
everyone's into dinosaurs.
I didn't see it when it came out because I was 2.5. I saw it on video 2 years later.
Yeah,
I was about 4 or 5, and we got the VHS, and I don't know what possessed. I mean, my mum did this a lot when I was a kid. She'd let me just watch stuff, not really thinking about it, because she is that kind of ditzy idiot when it comes to stuff like that. So I saw Jurassic Park probably a bit younger than I should have done. I guess I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
But my god, like, I loved it. I think the opening half hour scared me. And I think it might have been the Dilophosaurus and the opening with the raptor in the cage.
Oh, the opening with the raptor in the cage is brilliant.
I think that scared me because I remember watching the film a lot as a kid, but specifically watching from the Mr. DNA bit onwards a lot. So I must have always rewound or fast forwarded to like that area.
I think a lot of that setup stuff kind of gets lost on a younger audience. They just want to get into dinosaur action, but watching it as an adult.
I fell in love with the T-Rex. Yeah. Like, the T-Rex was spellbinding to see as a kid because, of course, I was a young kid. I was into dinosaurs. I wanted to see the biggest, meanest, scariest motherfucker of the lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the T-Rex really did it for me, and I guess that was probably a mix of being scared and also being bored of setup as a child. Made me skip the beginning half hour quite often.
Yeah, totally.
To the point where even now, I've probably seen this movie close to 30 times in my life.
Oh yeah.
Even now, I'm amazed by the first sort of 20-30 minutes because part of my head's like, wait, I haven't seen this before. Even though I now as an adult have seen it at least 10 times, like that stuff, it still feels weird to me that I've seen it.
Yeah.
Although I did eventually get to see it in the cinema twice because I remember about 10 years ago they brought it out again, just randomly.
They did it in 3D, didn't they?
Oh no, hang on. Oh, that was it. It was 2013. They brought it out for the 20th anniversary just in cinemas for a limited run, so I went to see it.
Yeah.
And then about a year before Jurassic World came out, they re-released it in 3D to cinemas because that was the same year the Blu-ray for the 3D version came out, which I do own. That's one of the few films where I've bought 2 versions of it just so I can own the 3D one as well.
I have no interest in 3D movies. Also, I don't have a 3D TV.
I
only bought it the once.
I've only realised after a couple of years that I'm the only one of the 2 of us in this house that likes watching stuff in 3D, which means I need to have more movie nights just to myself.
Well, suppose.
Dirty!
Yay!
Dirty filth stinks. Dirty filth stinks. Doctor Strange looks fucking incredible in 3D. Just a little.
I think that part of the reason that the effects look like they've aged in the places that they have is because it's on Blu-ray. I think if you watch a VHS or a DVD copy of this movie, you're not going to get any of that.
The picture quality would contribute to sort of filling the void of the uncanny valley and separation that's there.
Yeah, I relished the opportunity to get this from the video store when I could rent it because
gorgeous cover as well, just a black cover with the is it the 65 million years in the making tagline on it.
I've also read have you read the book?
I've never read the book. I've always wanted to.
It's interesting. It's a pretty decent adaptation. He's changed some stuff around.
It's different and more violent.
It's way more violent.
Yeah.
It's way more opening gubbins.
Yeah.
Because you've got the...
They really try and establish the science of it all.
Well, no, there's a whole opening sequence in the book with like a medic having someone brought to her with what looks like a shark bite, but it's actually a raptor bite. Or it's implied to be a raptor bite. The kids are swapped round.
Okay.
So Lex is the younger, and Tim's the elder.
Mm. That did feel like a very Spielbergian choice.
Yeah.
Because he was always a little bit ahead of his time in that sense, and he was like, I want to make the kid with more agency, and the one who's in charge be the girl.
Yeah, and also he's very into like father figures and broken homes.
Yes,
and
that is a
Tim being a bit younger helps that dynamic work, I think.
Yeah.
Hammond's a bit more of a dick in the book.
Yes, he's
he's a bit more ruthless and a bit less like the misguided, wondrous man.
He's not the dinosaur Willy Wonka.
No. And also he dies in the book.
Oh, how does he get bumped off? Is it?
Oh, he gets eaten by raptors, I think.
Of
or
course.
compies or something like that.
Of course. Of course, yeah, the compies are in the book, aren't they? And they save them for the second film.
Yeah,
for the films.
The Compsognathus. There's a few different more types of dinosaurs. I think Muldoon survives to the end in the book.
Really?
Yeah.
So he doesn't get his clever girl moment?
No. I think Ian Malcolm dies as well. Despite Ian Malcolm still being the main character of the book sequel, The Lost World.
Which was written in conjunction with the movie.
And the film sequel, The Lost World. They do explain it.
Yeah.
But fuck knows if I remember how, because you're going to have to take the lead on I was talking about The Lost World, because I remember nothing about it. I remember being bored.
The film or the book?
Both.
Really?
I remember being bored by it when it came out.
I talk about the film quite a bit. Okay.
I remember it, and as such, I have very seldom revisited it. I have revisited Jurassic Park 3 more than I had The Lost World.
But that's because you're a William H. Macy fanboy.
I am a William H. Macy fan. Also a Sam Neill fan. Also
a fan of movies where dinosaurs say, Alan.
As much as I'm sure The Lost World is a far superior film, because it's not hard to be a far superior film to Jurassic Park 3. However, Jurassic Park 3 is a lot of fun.
It is. When I was growing older, I think we'll touch on characters separately afterwards.
Yeah.
But as I was growing older, I realised that as I was growing up with those movies, I realised that I preferred Lost World to 3, although I do think 3 is a better movie.
Really?
Yeah, I think 3 is a better movie than Lost World simply because 3 sort of feels like a smaller story.
Mm.
Like number one is effectively a disaster movie.
Well, Lost World is
with a lovable set of characters that you watch do. Yeah, Spielberg.
It's one of Spielberg's few sequels. Like he's only really done the Indiana Jones sequels and Lost World.
Oh yeah, but Lost World, like I say, I think 3 is the better film because it's that smaller story, and it relies on you knowing the world you're in, but also doesn't like steep itself in the continuity of the series. You just know that there was a park, and all the spare dinosaurs are on an island, and this guy has basically been tricked into going back there to help people find someone. So it's find the child, get off the island. Straightforward and simple. Here's a bunch of dinosaurs. Oh my god, the pterodon sequence is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Number 2, I enjoy more, but it's definitely not the better of the sequels. Because number 2 feels like a hodgepodge of ideas.
I'm
terrified of that because Fallen Kingdom's trailer looks very much like they're using the exact same sequence of ideas.
Yeah.
And the technology is better now, so maybe it will work better, but my god, the third act in San Diego in Lost World,
yeah, because they bring the T-Rex back.
Awful. Like, it is bad. Like, because they try and comedy moment it up. This thing's barreling down the streets, which is, oh wow, cool idea. Like, genuinely great idea. We're going to see the T-Rex in our environment. Oh my god, brilliant idea. But then it has like a quiet scene eating someone's dog and looking through their bedroom window. It's like, I'm sorry, where are the sirens? Where are the other people screaming? Like, I know it's 3 a.m, but there's a T-Rex in someone's yard. Like, why are you playing this moment for comedy?
Yeah.
What's going on? It's so weird. But then there's so much I really enjoy about it personally, and it's the set pieces I really like.
I remember...
I like the first sequence with the poachers with Pete Postlethwaite. Like, it's horrible, but it's weird to see... It's weird and fascinating to watch poachers, like modern-day poachers, hunting this kind of game.
Yeah.
It's like, this is weird.
I remember the sequence with the raptors in the long grass.
That's really good.
I remember
the T-Rex poking its head through the waterfall while everybody's up against the rock.
Yeah.
And then that guy dies for the stupidest reason. They're running from a fucking T-Rex and a small snake starts to like drop on his shoulder and he goes, "Ah! Snake! Snake!" and he runs forward and runs just into the jaws of the T-Rex. Yeah. It's like, this is the dumbest fucking thing.
It's not the best.
10 seconds earlier, it was the coolest thing ever. It's so dumb. I hate the baby T-Rex. But there's something weirdly charming about what's Julianne Moore's character called?
Sarah Harding.
Sarah! That's it, of course.
I only know that because I looked it up.
There's something weirdly charming about Sarah's like thing of, oh fuck, no, it's injured, I'm gonna heal it. It's like, if we take this thing, its parents are gonna come looking for it.
Yeah.
But it's weirdly charming in that family movie way of her being like, no, I've got to heal it, I've got to look after it, it's like, ugh! But I also forgive it her stupid choice. Because it leads to my favourite set piece in the movie, which is the fucking trailer lab dangling over the edge of the cliff with the glass. That is some of the tensest shit I've ever seen in a family film.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
I do have to watch The Lost World again. I didn't get a chance to watch it before we did this episode. I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I haven't. It's the one I've seen the least. But I moved house, so I didn't really get a chance.
What? How dare you not stop
right?
grown-up, real-life important things to watch a dumb movie about
Maybe
dinosaurs?
I'll watch it tonight.
How dare you?
Stable door, horse-bolted business.
You could have watched fucking Ian Malcolm's daughter gymnastics kick a raptor.
Yeah. I remember that getting a lot of shit when it came out. It
has aged... In time, it has still proven to be a really dumb moment. Especially because we're showing how powerful these things are.
Yeah.
And then for a 10-year-old kid to frickin' gymnastics kick it through a window.
I get why Spielberg does it because he likes empowering children.
But this child spends the whole movie just being annoying.
Yeah.
She spends the whole movie being annoying. And then she and other characters disappear for Act 3.
Yeah.
And it's just brought down to... Like, what is Ian Malcolm and... Is it Sarah? What's the character's name? Sarah... Harding?
I only know this because I'm looking at the toy
When
page.
I said that, I thought that was wrong, and then I realised it's because the name's similar to a member of Girls Aloud or something. It's just them in a freaking expensive car driving after it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are they going to do?
Pretty much.
What the fuck are they going to do? Like, this makes no sense. Some of this is so nonsensical. There was a deleted scene in Lost World, because when they get there, they find... when the T-Rex has burst out of the containment... they find there's tons of dead bodies, and it was because originally they'd shot a scene where a raptor had stowed away, and the raptor gets killed, but then that's what causes the breakout. The T-Rex manages to break out during that. Because the bodies are all... You see a glimpse of them in the movie, and it's like the bodies are like mutilated and damaged to fuck in a way that the T-Rex wouldn't be able to do, because it's just a big thing. You know, the most it's going to do in terms of clawing people is chomp them in half. Whereas these bodies are like eviscerated, which makes more sense if a raptor was on board. So you knew that they wanted to get that scene in there somewhere, a scene with a T-Rex and a raptor side by side in some way, which they eventually get a couple films later. Lost World has some really interesting, cool set pieces in it. It's also got some of the best casting in Pete Postlethwaite.
It's got a really good cast,
Some of the most weird, interesting casting in the form of Vince Vaughn.
We've got Vince Vaughn, Pete Postlethwaite, Richard Attenborough returns, of course,
in 2 scenes where he's kind of wasted.
Peter Stormare.
Yeah, who's the villain? Who's the villain in it?
Peter
Stormare.
Yeah, Peter Stormare.
He's the head. He's the head of the of InGen or whatever it is that's taking over the stuff. Like he's wonderfully boo-hiss and kind of pathetic in it, but you know, sort of in a bad guy way.
I love boo-hiss.
But it's just weird that we're at the point where the movies. This is where the movies decide that human bad guys are the way forward for the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yeah.
Instead of it being that moral quandary with some cool
visuals. How much villainous agency can you really ascribe to an overgrown lizard?
Well, that's the thing. The dinosaurs don't have to be baddies. They just have to be what they are. Predators and you know, like forces to be reckoned with. Which is why 3 is really charming. Even though they still decide there needs to be a baddie dinosaur.
Well, the Spinosaurus, yeah.
The fucking Spinosaurus. I like its design. I like the fact they decided...
Oh, yeah, what's not to like?
I like the fact they decided we need a different predator to be the main threat to our characters.
Yeah.
But the child in me who loved those movies hates the fact that they decided to have it kill a T-Rex to prove that point.
Yeah.
Especially because that T-Rex is very likely the one from the end of Lost World put back on the island.
Oh, of course, yeah, because 2 and 3 are set in Site B.
Yeah, that's how Jurassic World works as a sequel to Jurassic Park.
Because that's set on the original
island. 2 and 3
island.
are set on Isla Sorna.
Oh, Isla Sorna and Isla Nublar is the original one.
It's the original site,
Isla Sorna is Site B, yeah.
So 2 and 3 are set on the same island, and... Oh, Christ. So, by this point, because they're essentially all clones from DNA, but these ones have been bred... No, these ones have evolved to procreate, is the implication in number 2.
That's the implication in number 1.
Oh, no, but in number 2, they straight up sort of imply
it's not even an implication.
The 2 T-Rexes, one is male, one is female, that baby has come from them.
Yeah.
In number 1, it's more that they... Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Number 1's implication is that the frog DNA, they start to... What's it called? Asexual.
No. They spontaneously change sex.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought the idea was that they just created life because that was how they continued.
The frog
because
DNA
life,
they use finds
a way.
No, the species that they took the frog DNA from is a species that... And this is a real thing.
Yeah.
When the population
dwindles,
reaches critical levels... and they haven't got enough of one gender, then some members of the population will change gender, change sex, and become able to procreate.
And that's why it's important to keep them separate as much as possible, or have only one of each one as much as possible, because then they don't.
No, they didn't think about. They didn't think.
Oh
no,
no! I mean, when you go forward to Jurassic World, that's why they're more kind of separated, and there's only maybe one of each one, because it's like then they have no desire to do that, because as far as they're concerned, there is just one of them and that's it.
Or there might be some other workaround they've got in Jurassic World. I can't remember much about Jurassic World. For the same reasons that I can't remember much about the Lost World. They're kind of boring.
Who's the kid in the third one? The character's name.
Eric Kirby.
Is that the character's name or the actor's name?
That's the character's name, played by Trevor Morgan.
The tiny boy. Do they run around going Eric at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh God.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 are in the same cinematic universe as Heavy Rain? Sarah! Eric! Jason!
I hate you so much.
I hate me too.
Just the worst.
Detroit! Become human out now.
So... Can't wait.
Oh,
can't wait.
Jurassic Park 3 is a pretty solid, tiny Jurassic Park movie.
It's pretty good fun. Also, it's got Sam Neill in it, and if Sam Neill's in something, I'm at least halfway on board.
Yeah, as is Sam Neill when he's in things. He's at least halfway.
Halfway. Sometimes he's all the way on board, but he's always at least halfway on board.
The movie's like, hey, do you remember Dr. Alan Grant? Yeah. Do you remember Dr. Ellie Kessler? Yeah. Well, they're not a thing. What?
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, we imply that they never really even became a thing. And they also no longer think of each other that way. And they're perfectly happy apart, but he's a family friend and they get on.
They were a thing in the original.
Yeah, well, they never show stuff, but it's the way it's played as these two are a thing in the book. If these two are not a couple, they're like one conversation away from being like, are we a couple?
Yeah, but they are explicitly a thing in the book.
Yeah, because in the film there's that whole hint of like, do you want kids? But they never say like, shall we have kids?
Yeah,
it's like, do you want kids?
But they come back to that in Jurassic Park 3 as the thing that came between them.
Yeah, that he didn't want kids, despite his entire journey in the first movie as a human and as part of a relationship being.
He literally
maybe I do want a family.
He literally comes away on that helicopter at the end of the first film, cradling both those children.
So she comes away from that movie, gets with someone else, and has kids.
Yeah. Because I guess he didn't really want kids.
It's just such a stupid call.
But either way, it's always nice to see Laura
in the third movie. Who else?
William H. Macy and Tay Leone.
Yes, Tay Leone being really irritating.
Oh yeah.
William H. Macy's acting mostly coming from his mustache.
Oh yeah, so much mustache.
But the two of them work really nicely as that sort of slightly disillusioned. We believe millionaires. Only to find out. Yeah, no, they were millionaires. They've spent all the fucking money trying to find their son.
Yeah.
Who went missing on a paragliding trip around Isla Sorna. Because, but then again, Lost World begins with a rich family who've pulled up a yacht on a beach on what they don't obviously realise is Isla Sorna, and then the daughter gets eaten by compies. So it's like, fair enough.
There is that.
The body horror, the suggested body horror of the Jurassic Park series carries on in this one when they find the skeletal remains of the guy the kid paraglided with, hung up in the tree. Paraglided into the jaws of death. So there's that. I know it's tacky. I have so much love for the cell phone joke.
Oh, it's so good. That is good.
Especially when they're on the riverboat and they hear it ringing and they turn and there's the fucking Spinosaurus on the the bay. And you could I mean, it makes no sense. Of course you wouldn't be able to hear the coming from its stomach, but
it is, yeah.
It works so well. And it's also fun to look at early 2000s cell phones. Because it's basically a late 90s
Well, it's not even a cell phone, it's a satellite phone.
Yeah, but the fact that it's got like that Nokia ring style,
yeah.
It's just weird.
It's the jingle for his tile company.
Was it the Nokia thing though?
No. And again, it's similar.
Oh my god,
it's a little similar, but I can't remember what the tune is. But it's not the Nokia theme. It's the jingle for his company. I'm sorry. I don't care if we get copyright struck. I'm finding it. But yeah,
I'm finding it. Also, it's wonderful.
Jurassic Park 3 was directed by Joe Johnston, who would later go on to direct
Captain America,
the first Avenger. But he's had a, shall we say, spotty directorial career.
Yeah.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in '89.
Oh, yeah,
good times. Rocketeer in '91. Great movie.
Yeah, damn great movie.
Love the Rocketeer. Essentially,
prototype Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah. The Page Master.
I like that film. Guess what? It's dog shit, but I like it.
I have no idea if I like that film or not because I never saw it when it came out, and now it's impossible to find.
The only way you can get it in the UK is on VHS.
It's impossible to find.
Yeah. I don't think it's on iTunes even.
No.
And Netflix or anything like that.
No.
Beautiful animation, fucking awful movie. Like, dreadful movie. Wonderful cast. First starring role Frank Welker ever had in a film. The three books in it are fantasy, horror, and adventure. And adventure's played by Patrick Stewart. Fantasy is played by Whoopi Goldberg, and horror is played by Frank Welker.
Frank Welker's great.
And it was nice even as an animation nerd and a voiceover nerd as a kid for me to be like, those three names, like, oh my god, like Frank Welker's one of those three. Okay, that's really cool. It's got loads of really cool actors in it, like Leonard Nimoy and Christopher Lloyd, and it's just terrible. It's dog shit. It is utter dog shit. The message of the movie is read books, kids, and that's basically it. Ted Turner commissioned it because he was like, get people to read books. Get people to read books. and yet the adventure he has in the world of fiction are life-threatening, and he nearly dies. Plus, you see snippets from these amazing stories, but not enough for you to actually be interested in finding out what they're about.
Well, he also made Jumanji in '95, so...
Did he? Joe Johnston was Jumanji?
Yeah.
That's not a great movie either.
No, it's not!
Albeit a fondly remembered
People
movie.
love it, and I kind of like it, but it's not very good.
Oh, God.
But yeah, also Adventures That Nearly Kill You.
Yeah.
And October Sky in '99.
Sky. The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he did
one
a
of
couple of them.
Oh, God. And then his phone rang. But I hear that, and all I can picture is either a giant carnivore waiting patiently on the bank of a river, or a big pile of shit. Because, of course, there's the scene when they fish it out of its turds.
Oh, he made Hidalgo as well.
Really?
You know that horse movie with
the stuff?
With
the horse movie?
Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, right, okay.
Viggo Mortensen rides a horse across somewhere.
If that was the title of the movie, I'd remember it. Viggo Mortensen rides a horse across somewhere.
Oh, he made the 2010 Wolfman reboot.
I think we've got that.
I've not even seen that.
I think we picked it up in like a 2 for 10 and we've still not opened it.
I hear it's bad.
Yep.
Let's talk about
Jurassic. Well, let's talk briefly about the gap. There was a brief. It was obviously a brief gap. Jurassic Park 3.
Talking about the
Jurassic
gap?
Park 3 was 2001.
Jurassic Park 3 was
and Jurassic World was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
In the gap, there was always talk of a fourth one. And they kept talking about it being dinosaur hybrids with humans, and the military doing experiments to create soldiers that were part dino, part human, and movie websites throughout the late 2000s, early 2010s kept posting as though it was a new find, even though they'd already done it like 2 years ago, and another site done it.
Because that's where you take that franchise at that point.
Yeah, but like they were posting the artwork that had been done.
Oh yeah,
the pre-production. Yeah. It's like this guy who's like half sort of Stegosaurus and raptors with weapons like attached to them, and it was like, huh. And everyone's reaction to all of these, online stories were, "This sounds dumb."
You know what did that better? And this is gonna sound really weird.
Hit me with it.
The Dark Horse DC crossover comic. Batman Aliens 2. Not the original Batman Aliens crossover, the second one, in which an evil weapons manufacturer splices xenomorph DNA with the DNA of some of Batman's most despicable villains.
Oh my god, is that where you get that white one with the red lips and the green dome?
Yep.
Even though that makes no sense.
Yep.
Because the Joker doesn't have superpowers, so what's the point of splicing DNA with the Joker?
Yep.
Oh, it's immune to some toxins.
You should probably read Batman Aliens and Batman Aliens 2 because they're great.
Are they?
Yes.
I read Batman Predator 3. That's garbage.
Batman Predator 1 is pretty great. I have not read Batman Predator 3. Yeah.
Alien and Predator, Dark Horse's Horde since 1992.
If you want to talk about splicing
DNA,
Dinosaur DNA, that's where you want to go. You want to go Batman Aliens 2.
Of course, we had a few video games to fill the gaps in those years as well. Jurassic Park Genesis being the big one from the PC and PlayStation 1 era, which has sort of been remade in a way with the upcoming Jurassic World Evolution, which is again a similar thing. It's basically a theme park world with dinosaurs. There's a few action games as well, if I remember correctly, but they didn't really make a mark or stick around. The arcade game Jurassic Park was really fun. Did you ever play that? It was a first-person shooter.
I played the Mega Drive game.
The arcade.
The Lost World was the light gun shooter that Sega made.
Yeah. That was pretty sweet, if I recall. Oh my god, what am I looking at?
You're looking at the Alien Batman villain hybrids.
What's that meant to be?
I don't fucking know. We got a Joker one. We got... Is that supposed to be like... We got a Two-Face one. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, splice it with the DNA of a man who has, again, no abilities, but he's just burned.
I Mr. Freeze one.
So stupid. Let's splice it with the DNA of a man who's got a horrible condition that requires him to be...
We got a Scarecrow one.
I'm sorry. Did the writers of this even realise that the majority of Batman's villains are just either normal people or normal people with a horrific deformity?
We got a Killer Croc one. Look at that. Look at that bastard.
Why? That just looks like a reject from the 90s toy line.
Why not?
Croc alien.
So yeah, that's something. So Jurassic Park missed out on that one.
However, that idea obviously stayed alive because when we got 2015's Jurassic World...
2015's Jurassic World?
Oh yeah. One of the staying points of it did turn out to be genetic splicing.
Yeah.
And that looks like that's the main plot for Fallen Kingdom as well.
The Indominus Rex.
Yeah, the iRex. Oh, isn't that funny? Because it's sort of a parody of Apple products.
The thing is, they've said that after Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they're not going to do any more gene splicing stuff. Ha! And I think that's a missed opportunity. Well. Because if after Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we don't get Dino Crisis 3 style genetically modified dinosaurs running amok on a space station, then I think I'm out.
Jurassic World...
Jurassic Universe.
Jurassic Universe. There you go.
Jurassic Universe.
There you go, guys. And then the franchise can die in a horrific way, but at least we'll have had dinosaurs on a spaceship.
It'll be the inevitable heat death of the Jurassic Universe. So yeah, but Jurassic...
Can the dinosaurs on the spaceship be followed around by two recycled CBBC show droid props that have the voices of Mitchell and Webb for no reason?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, please.
Cool.
Let's... Jurassic World.
Yeah. Oh god. Verizon presents the Indominus Rex.
Jurassic...
That's its full name.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Jurassic World is a movie with some really good ideas.
Yeah, I firmly put it in my ironing category.
Yeah.
It's an ironing movie.
It's a movie with really good ideas, and it's got somewhere along the scripting process, it clearly had something to say about branding and capitalism and the theme park industry and the way we and zoos and the way we
move on quickly from trends.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, it happened to do it using a movie that is a brand and a franchise.
Yeah.
And...
At some point, it clearly had something to say about those issues, but along the way, they were completely ignored in favour of making just kind of a messy sort of...
Well, I mean, the Indominus Rex was obviously part of that statement, and yet, of course, what was the Indominus Rex slapped on? Lunchboxes and t-shirts. Yep. So it's like you're kind of missing your own... Your message has been destroyed by the thing that it's being told through.
There's so much irony in the way that Jurassic Park is handled as a franchise, in that so much of it is just lost in... Oh, well, we got to merchandise this and bring toys and lunchboxes and backpacks out and...
Well, do you know what it is?
Madness.
Do you remember when the first Doctor and Clara series rocked up of Doctor Who, to bring up another movie example, and it's a series 7B.
Yeah.
And she's like... end of their first adventure, second adventure, or whatever. It's like, cool, I'll see you next week. Can you come by Wednesday? And it was this whole thing of like, why are you not joining him? Which became a Moffat staple of the companions just getting picked up every now and again.
Yeah.
And he was just like their fun friend who they went on an adventure with once a week. It's like, no, freaking get in that time machine and go on adventures.
Friend with TARDIS benefits.
Made worse in Nightmare in Silver. With the kids who were kind of like, this is really dumb.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, you little brats. Like, this is your story. This is the characters you're choosing to write. People who are bored of this amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Jurassic World commits that offence in the first 20 minutes because the older kid of the two is already, not paying attention to the stuff around him.
Yeah.
Yet the film is shooting that stuff as though it's wonderful.
And both those child actors are pretty good as well. And they just
great.
kind of get... Because the younger one's Ty Simpkins from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Who's really good,
but it's great. And the way that it's shooting it and stuff is it's trying to make us, the audience, have that visceral reaction of, oh my god, this is wonderful. So to see the characters in the shot not reacting like that at all and it being part and parcel, it's part of the film's message, but it sort of dies. I can't remember who it was, but in some video essay, someone pointed out about the power of themes. If you're going to reuse themes and keep franchises going, at least use the themes correctly.
They did. The marketing for Fallen Kingdom has been horrendous for that.
Yeah. But when did you first hear the Jurassic Park theme in Jurassic Park?
I can't remember.
You first hear it properly.
Oh, when they go through the gates into Jurassic Park.
Well, the first licks of it appear as the helicopter approaches the island. The second licks of it hit in full force. The stretch that that bit is the Brontosaurus glory shot. That's when you first hear it.
Yeah.
And then you hear it again as the tour begins. You hear it in the score.
Well, it's confusing the Jurassic Park theme because there's two movements of it.
Yeah.
There's the
but they have its moments and then the last time we hear it is as the film's closing out. As we're that triumphant, we've left the island, we're safe. And off we go into the safety of the world, and we've had an adventure, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for clearing your popcorn as you leave. Goodbye, everybody. Jurassic World plays that theme as a helicopter arrives to a helipad, and that's it. You're like, oh, okay.
And then
you're trying to invoke feelings in us, but you basically going, Earth and Khan's helicopter has landed on a thing. Welcome to the thing, the grey metal thing.
Jurassic World is another Jurassic Park movie that has a great cast, which are all horribly used.
Chris Pratt, charming as fuck, but the character does feel kind of gross in places.
Yeah, totally.
I wouldn't go so far as to how Joss Whedon did when we first saw the clips. It was like, oh, so his character's just smug man who wants to shag, and their entire relationship is that. But then it is a shame that Bryce Dallas Howard's character is nothing more than a busybody workaholic
who runs in heels.
Yeah, for Christ's sake.
I love Bryce Dallas Howard as well.
I adore her and I adore him, and I wish their characters were gentler. I wish their characters were more human.
Poor old Judy Greer. Remember when she didn't play everyone's mum?
Judy Greer. Oh,
Judy
God.
Greer, she's the kid's mum in this.
Oh, of course, yeah, we see her over the phone a couple of times.
Yeah. She was at the start sending her off.
Just like, oh, Christ. But I think it's Irfan Khan, isn't it, the actor?
Irfan Khan, yeah.
He's freaking wonderful, and he's constantly cast in Hollywood films in thankless roles.
Yeah. Because he's Asian.
No, but I mean, like, they get his stature. Like, he's a big star in Asia.
Oh, yeah,
He's a big star in Asia, and he's working a lot more in America, and he's a fucking wonderful actor. And they always just put him in these parts where he's either not around for long and is underused, or you see these flashes of brilliance, and then that's the end of his story in the film. In this, he's in it for maybe about 10-15 minutes. There's definitely that element of Attenborough's charm in there to his character. Like, his character is meant to almost be a...
He's the Richard... He's the Hammond of this
He's the
cat,
Steve Jobs version of Hammond, who was the Bill Gates version. Like, it's the idea of... It's someone who comes from that same kind of dream pool, but hey, he's innovating more, he's understanding what needs improvement, he's a bit more of a public face. Do you know what I mean?
Business savvy as well.
Yeah, and also, but not a dick. Like, if there are problems, if there are flaws with him, they're under the surface, and we're going to discover them the more we learn about him. But ultimately, he's barely in the freaking thing. If I remember correctly, he sacrifices himself to help them.
Yeah.
But it's like, he smashes the helicopter into the thingy dome to try and kill the Indominus Rex or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's like, oh, okay.
BD Wong.
BD Wong, great, and maybe he'll get to play more in the next one. But but again, we need a human boo-hiss villain.
So we got him and Vincent D'Onofrio.
And Vincent D'Onofrio is wasted in this film.
No, literally, he's wasted. He was on very strong pain medication, had a toothache,
He just kept sitting there between takes, rocking back and forth, muttering, "This city, my city, this city.
When am I going to go back and do more Daredevil? When am I going to go back?"
Oh god. But again, like, wasted, evil military man, and those themes are still there.
Yeah.
You can tell that someone at Universal, the person who made sure that this film happened, was the same person who was in love with the idea for Thor that they were obviously going with, and was like, we've got to get that in there somewhere. I want dinosaur hybrids. I want hybrids. They've got to be in there. And it's obviously carrying through to the next one, because the new dino threat in Fallen Kingdom is again a genetic hybrid.
If it's a story about genetic engineering and cloning, that's the logical place to take it. I have no problem with that.
Oh, not to the soldiers with guns stuck in them. Maybe to them engineering the dinosaurs for a purpose.
When you're in your 5th and 6th movies, maybe.
But should they have even got to the 5th and 6th movies?
No.
But then you can also look at it as this.
But if you're gonna go there,
you can also look at it
let's
as
go
this is
there.
the 3rd movie if you want. You could ignore 2 and 3 because
Why?
World only requires you knowing 1 to make sense.
But
if I remember correctly, in World, there's a throwaway line of dialogue where they refer to the Site B incident.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Which is 2 and 3.
That is the reference to 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's as far as it goes. Are they going to, in this one, acknowledge that a dinosaur has frickin' escaped into the West Coast before? Probably not.
But
there's villains in this one. BD Wong's in this one again. Toby Jones seems to be an evil auctioneer.
Oh, Toby Jones!
You can just about make him out in one shot of the trailer.
Toby Jones!
And you can hear his voice saying, "The most fearsome creature to ever walk the earth." And you're like, oh, they're letting him do American. Okay.
Love Toby Jones.
Toby Jones? Noby Jones.
Toby Jones.
It's definitely Toby Jones.
Can I say something that really pisses me off about Jurassic World as well?
Hit me.
That I've talked about before.
Hit me. The Margaritaville stuff.
I know Margaritaville stuff's fine.
The unnecessarily violent death of
Zara, Katie McGrath's
character.
She's just trying. She's Claire's like put upon assistant. She's a bit snotty, but that's because she's been landed with these 2 kids, one of whom is completely disinterested, and the other one clearly has some abandonment and emotional issues because of the way his aunt treats him.
The way she's killed off is traditionally done in family movies to a horrible character.
It's like
a sort of like a semi-comeuppance. It would work as a joke if her death was the result of her not paying attention to the kids she's meant to be watching. But it's not a result of that.
No, it's a result of her trying to look after them.
Now, I saw people argue. I remember me saying that on Twitter at the time, and people saying to me, like, you're just saying that bad guys have to die that way.
No.
And I was saying, no, Like, yes, of course they're showing the chaos, but it's the almost dino death porn way that they show her.
There's something mean-spirited about it.
It's like 3 levels to her death that you don't see elsewhere. You see other people batting away pterodons and pterodactyls. You see them batting them away. That's it. For her, she gets picked up and roughed up, and she gets dumped on the ground. Then she gets picked up again, and as she's about to be taken away, probably to be eaten by this thing, the megalodon or whatever it is comes out the
Mesosaurus.
The Mesosaurus comes out of the water and fucking chomps, opens up and chomps again, and then drags it into the depths. And it's like, okay, if you're just trying to show how horrific this situation is, maybe show other characters suffering hilariously Final Destination-esque fates.
But it's
so mean-spirited,
and it adds to this sort of misogynistic sheen on top of this film in the way that Owen and Claire interact, the needless death and the needlessly overlong death of Zara,
of one of the only sort of 2 prominent female characters in the movie.
there's her and there's Judy Greer's mum, who's sidelined because she's barely in it, and then there's the lass from the control room.
Yeah,
you've got the guy in the Jurassic Park
his entire thing is like, he loves me and he doesn't notice me. It's like, what?
And it's
the guy in the Jurassic Park show is weird because I think the actor and the way he plays that character is fine.
Jake Johnson.
But the Jurassic Park thing, though, like the original park was OG. That was the OG and all this stuff.
It never opened.
It's like it never opened. So how would you know? How would you fucking know?
All of that would have become public knowledge in the wake.
Yeah, but then why would his reaction be, "Oh yeah, but that park was legit"? It's like, no, it wasn't. It was a park that was tested once, and horrific things happened and people died.
Yeah.
In fact, this world is so apparently blind and insensitive to the events of Jurassic Park that they've built their thing like a half mile away from the empty buildings.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at least just reappropriate the buildings and reinforce them and use them as your site. Fair enough. Like, that's saving money and being economic. But oh my god!
Like there are good ideas buried in this movie, but the execution is just so poor.
Now, in the film itself, they resist in the marketing for the film itself. They resisted nostalgia, aside from the brand name and the music. I find in the marketing for the film, they held back. In the movie, it's gratuitous in a couple of places, like when they find the original site, like him with his T-shirt.
Yeah,
like that's a bit gratuitous. But there are 2 nods to the previous movies that I think do feel rewarding. One's subtle, one's not so subtle. One is the T-Rex. It was barely, if at all, in the marketing for Jurassic World or in the run up to the release of the movie. Afterwards, it was on fucking posters and this and the other. Yeah. But the T-Rex, and again, like little nod for those who pay close attention, it's the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. It's the original T-Rex. But like in the film, you see it very briefly in the first 15 minutes. You see the top of its head walk beyond the crowd of people watching it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's ignored for the rest of the movie, and then when they realise that they need something to distract the I-Rex with, they draw out the T-Rex.
Yeah, because you've got that whole thing
and as it emerges from the shadows, I will admit, it does make me go, oh, that looks really cool. Yeah. Here it is. There's the T-Rex.
There are good ideas in Jurassic World that even get as far as being good moments in it.
Oh, and then it makes a subtle dig at Jurassic Park 3's decision to kill off a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Because the first thing that it smashes through in the fight is a Spinosaurus skeleton that's on display, which the filmmakers, I don't know if it was Colin Trevorrow, but someone confirmed the Spinosaurus skeleton in the like City Walk pavilion of Jurassic World is the skeleton of the Spinosaurus from Isla Sorna, because apparently at some point they found it and just decided to clean it up and put it on display.
Why wouldn't you?
So it's this sort of dig to the fact people hated the Spinosaurus killing the T-Rex off. It's like, there you go. That's fan service hidden away. That's nice. But okay, do you want to know what my favourite part of the movie is? Because it's also my least favourite part of the movie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's the last 5 minutes. It's the dinosaur super fight.
Yeah.
Between Blue the raptor. I mean, I think we'll save this for next week's review, but I could get into a whole thing about the raptors teaming up with humans.
I don't know,
But it's Blue the raptor and the T-Rex fighting the I-Rex. My inner child and my lover of big dumb action sequences thinks that is the most fun fucking sequence in the film.
Yeah.
Like 2 dinosaurs
I can see
sort of teaming up to fight a bigger dinosaur.
Yeah.
Right down to them really sort of dumbly at the end almost acknowledging each other before they part ways. It's so stupid, that moment, but it kind of gives me that low-key thrill of this is dumb and I am here for it. But it's also my least favourite scene in the movie, simply because it's like, we're really ending this movie with a dinosaur team-up. Why? Why are they teaming up? They don't team up against common threats.
Because they're setting up for genetically engineered human dinosaurs hybrid soldiers, and if we don't get that in Jurassic Park 6, I'm going to be really upset.
Verizon presents the Tyrannosaurus Rex, whatever the freak it was called.
Indominus Rex.
Indominus Rex. It's a hybrid of like all these different types of dinosaurs because people are bored and we want to show them something new, even though it's basically just a giant white raptor. It's a giant white raptor with albino rabbit eyes. That's pretty much
it can kill you.
Yeah. There we go.
Even it can kill you even deader than anything else in the park.
That's true. I think the I-Rex is fine.
The I-Rex is fine.
It does. It serves its purpose.
If you're doing this, this franchise is about genetic engineering and stuff like that, I think it's a logical place to go. And I think if is it
weird that the new one is basically about the same thing? And we've created another super dinosaur that is basically a grey I-Rex.
That depends if they're going to do it better.
It's definitely a better dinosaur, Matt, because you don't get this. The raptor DNA they take, right? It's from Blue.
It is from Blue.
And you know Blue, right? You love Blue. Blue's your favourite dinosaur. You've got an emotional attachment to Blue. Look at this trailer. Does it make you sad to see Blue in pain?
No.
I've got no fucking emotional attachment to that dinosaur.
Because Jurassic World wasn't very good.
But it's also the fact that it's like painfully obvious that they wanted to make Blue a thing. Because we meet the 4 raptors that they're not trained, but Chris Pratt can sort of communicate with their pack mentality.
Yeah.
And because he feeds them, there's like that mutual respect level of they leave him alone because he brings the food. And like he's noticed patterns.
I've got no problem with them training the raptors from
it
birth.
makes sense because obviously if something goes wrong they can talk with them. Yeah. But out of the 4 of them, one of them's bright fucking blue. And it's just like, I wonder which one they're going to try and set up to be a thing they give a shit about.
They should all have been a bit more unique.
So dumb. But so dumb. Lego Jurassic World tries to make them all more unique. They've all got different colour scheme, but it's like, don't bother.
You can't fix that. The problems with that film. So let's do some quick predictions for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. My prediction is that fucking version of the Jurassic Park theme that's in all the trailers, the terrible one of it's just the first 3 notes, is not going to appear in the film.
No. Just like the slow piano version in Jurassic World trailers never appeared in the film.
Yeah. And I'm going to be happy about that.
I predict that the end of the second act will be them getting into American territory.
Yeah.
The third act will be the auction to the dodgy people whilst they're dismantling the warehouse stuff. The dinosaur escapes, and it targets that house for some reason. So we have all the stuff in the concrete walls.
There's a line in the trailer about being near a town, so I think it'll just make for the nearest town.
Yeah. It will climb to that bedroom, because apparently it's going to just climb to a bedroom for a little girl.
Let's eat children!
Then Chris Pratt's going to arrive and Blue's going to fight it off. Then Blue's probably going to die heroically or something. And then the final part of the fight will be on the rooftop in the rain with Bryce Dallas Howard hitting it with tranks. And how do I know this? Because the last trailer basically shows the third act scattered around the trailer in the wrong order, in a way that's really easy to piece together.
Yeah.
The second act will end with the volcano going off on the island and them on the beach being like, it was a lie, because the organisation are doing something shady. And
I want to know how Chris Pratt survives that fall. Of running from the pyroclastic flow and then diving off, 30, 40 feet?
He's going to land on a pterodactyl or something stupid. Or Blue's going to scrabble up the mountain and up the side of the cliff and leap and tackle him to safety. You know what? I want to have a good time. I really want to have a good time with Jurassic World.
I predict I will have a better time with Fallen Kingdom than I did with Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a better / more fun film. Because it looks like it's taking itself a bit less seriously.
Plus Toby Jones.
Toby Jones automatically makes things better just by virtue of being in them. So, yeah, I'm down for that.
Dobby will not let you hurt Blue. Dobby is Blue's friend. Yeah, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. Our review next week. Before that, though, we've not got time to go through everything, but we're going to have a dip into the email bag of dreams.
Couple of emails.
And see what you guys have been saying with your lips.
This one came in from
Ian. Putting it through your finger holes.
Came in. We didn't quite get a chance to didn't get a chance to this to get to this last week, and we're still late with it because he says I delayed this email for the happy 100th. Well, you missed the 100th, and then we couldn't read it last week, so now we're on 102. So you failed.
Failed, Ian.
Failed.
You failed us for the last time. Release the IREX!
On the subject of the Sooty and picture, Sooty and Sweep image.
Oh, yeah.
That he sent us. In Ghost Stories, when he goes into the kid's bedroom and talks about all the pictures of demons and devils, he asks him what he does if he doesn't want to look at the pictures, and the kid says, I look over there, and points to the picture
of
that
Sooty and Sweep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I completely forgot about that. Incidentally, my favourite episode of Sooty and Co. was where Matthew, not me, the other one, toured Manchester on the set of Coronation Street.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And also a correction which we got to before you sent this one on, so apologies. Stan Lee's face is in Deadpool 2 when the heist happens. There's a camera pan flowing with the convoy. On the right side of the screen there's a building with a huge graffiti image of his face. On the side... God, I'm so tired. Sorry. The huge graffiti image of his face on the side of a building. Also, it's a huge disgrace that Tom Monty ignored Nardole as a companion.
Tom Monty should be put to death. Release the IREX!
Yes! Oh God. Right, next one. This one comes in...
You called me many things. But...
This one comes in from George with the instruction, Matt, please read in the voice of an emotionally broken and worn down Stephen Moffat.
Okay.
Greetings, bright doggy crystal. I've finally just got home from seeing Deadpool 2, and my God, I've not had this much fun at the cinema in a long time, and I've never been happier to see X-Men Origins in my life. And preventing Ryan Reynolds from being in Green Lantern, best mid-credits scene ever. Stitches the whole way through. Might be better than the original in my opinion. On the subject, which is the best movie sequel, excluding Empire Strikes Back, Spider-Man 2, and Godfather 2.
Okay.
Where would you like to see Deadpool go next in either sequels, X-Force, or other crossovers of your choice?
Ooh.
I was also going to ask about your opinion of Class's Big Finish Adventures, but as you've already answered this instead, I'll ask, why won't Class die? Thanks once again, and have a wonderful week, you big damn boys.
Oh, bless ye.
Bless
ye,
best
Yog.
Movie sequel. Terminator 2. If it's not one of those three, it's Terminator 2.
Fuck T2. Aliens?
Aliens is very good.
Although Aliens and T2 sort of survive as sequels because they change genres. Yeah. Gremlins 2 The New Batch, but I'm biased because I realised that is my favourite film of all time. So of course I'm going to say Gremlins 2 The New Batch. Here they grow again. I mean, the tagline alone.
It's good.
It's very good. Sequels better than the original. Evil Dead 2.
Yeah. 2, right?
Yeah, I mean that sort of fits the bill.
Are there any sequels?
The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are there any sequels past 2 that are better than the original?
Thor Ragnarok.
Very good. Goes at the front of the class.
Thanks. Captain America, Winter
Soldier,
Soldier and even Civil War. I'd say
they're both better than First Avenger, although First Avenger is very good.
First Avenger is great. It's not Jurassic Park 3 great. It's not Jumanji great, but you know what I mean.
Fucking hell.
Hey-oh. It's mostly genre films, really, isn't it? Where the sequels can do better.
Yeah, because there's not many other kinds of film get franchised.
You know, I mean, you wouldn't look at God, what's the second Bridget Jones? Bridget Jones's Diary.
Edge of Reason.
Bridget Jones' Edge of Reason. You wouldn't look at that and say that's a better sequel, a better film than Bridget Jones's Diary, for example.
Well, you're talking to the wrong person about Bridget Jones. I don't.
Come the fuck on, Bridget.
I don't know, and I don't care.
Fair enough. Missing out on some very obvious Hugh Grant and Colin Firth acting, but you know. Just saying.
Brilliant.
Does animation get away with better sequels? I'd
yeah.
say Toy Story 2 is a better film than Toy Story.
Okay.
But only... And Toy Story 3 is a better film than Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of the movies are a bad movie at all. So it's not
Well,
like
I think
they're an improvement. I think it's just that they know what they're doing, so with each new entry they juggle stuff better.
Yeah.
And Dog Hair looks so much more improved after Toy Story 1. That's the only character in that film that looks terrible, Sid's dog.
Yeah, I watched Toy Story not long ago. It's aged incredibly well, I think.
We see everything.
I'd watch that horror movie.
So play nice.
Why? I know Child's Play is about a toy that's possessed.
Yeah.
What about toys
Always
that are actually alive and start murdering people, and tormenting people? That I would watch.
Demonic Toys, anybody? No.
Where would you like to see Deadpool go next? I think X-Force is the way to go. Make it more of an ensemble piece, because I think Deadpool being more front and center in Deadpool 2 has actually made the movie weaker.
Yeah, I mean the problem is with Deadpool is he hijacks whatever he's in. Whenever he appears in other people's books, the writers either use a lot of restraint and just write him with his personality being wacky, or they have his thought process invade the narrative. It's like if you read Secret Invasion and stuff like that, for example, Deadpool is not like his thought bubbles aren't there, his thought process isn't there. Yeah. So you could play around with that, but I don't know. I think the charm of those movies is because that they break the mold a bit. So I think if you made it more of an ensemble piece with him just as part of the ensemble, you'd have to at least give him like a Quicksilver-esque sequence where he gets to own it for 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I can see that.
Because otherwise you do kind of lose the biggest thing that makes him stand out in this genre. But I agree, though. I would like to get to know other mutants in X-Force itself.
I want to get to know you.
And then if you want to round up Deadpool, do another Deadpool film after that.
But don't.
Oh, that never featured in the film, did it? The bit with the research. Probably leave it at 2, right?
Yeah.
After that, that's a shame.
Probably because they cut as much TJ Miller as he could get away with.
Yeah, that's true. It's true, but didn't cut him, unfortunately.
Well, you kind of couldn't.
No, I meant physically. Just cut him.
I don't condone violence.
Even in the torture scene, we were.
I don't condone violence against TJ Millers.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
This next one comes.
I see what you do to your Emoji Movie poster.
This next one,
you take it out regularly and beat it.
This next one also comes in from Ian because we had a couple backlogged up from him.
Log.
Just getting to
back.
Logs. Says. Again, I've been instructed to read this out.
Jesus.
In the voice that I think an anthropomorphic personification of a bunghole in time would sound like.
Jeez, I know that in a while. Okay. Keeping in mind, the bunghole in time is usually what squirts out King Covey-Uranus, or whatever his name was.
When the F class was rumored, I think we all assumed it would be season 2, but if it's not, I guess I don't have to listen to it. And you had to have listened to it if it weren't for meddling Big Finish. That's great, Ian. That's very informative. P.S. I love how on the BF website it has "From the worlds of BBC's Doctor Who" until the title, in case anyone doesn't know what it is, so I guess the full title is "From the worlds of BBC Doctor Who, Dark and Sexy, and right now, class."
Ian, I'm starting to worry about your obsession with class long after its death.
You need to...
Sure, the corpse has been dug up and is being paraded around for novelty reasons, but you're keeping such a close eye on it, Ian.
Do you have a thing for corpses?
Do you have a thing for... Do you have a thing for the corpses of fictional college students? Huh?
The show was really bad.
It was terrible.
It was really bad.
Tell you what else is terrible.
No. I don't want to know.
Okay, well, that's
called... how your mind works.
That's called a cliffhanger, boys and girls. If you want to join us again, you can next week.
Is it Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? Is that terrible?
No, I was going to say saying goodbye.
We'll find out next week.
I'm actually quite relieved to say goodbye because I'm really hungry and I want to go get some food.
I'm so tired. I spent the last 4 days moving house. Oh. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get some streams out towards the end of this week. If not, it'll be next week before Adventures in Backlogging returns post-move.
Keep your eyes peeled on at Big Damn Cast on Twitter, of course. If you watch Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom or want to send us your Jurassic thoughts, send them to bigdamncontact@gmail.com.
Jurassic Thor, now there's a movie.
Jurassic Thor. Oh god, Jeff Goldblum is playing both Ian Malcolm and the Grandmaster.
The Grandmaster is Ian Malcolm.
Has been all along.
After he's ascended to godhood.
After his daughter becomes a gymnastics champion and goes away to fight raptors with her boots.
Chaos Theory.
Life